of books do you like?
Supernatural, and I like intense. I remember like in Dean's book, I could always count on like there would be one moment somewhere in the book where something would happen that would like make me sick or disturb me, or I couldn't believe he had done that. And I was like really counting on that moment, like reading up to it, like, oh my god, what's it gonna be?
It was always there.
It was always there. There's always something that was just like.
Did you realize you wanted to write?
I always had, I was an only child, I am an only child, and I lived in my imagination, and I feel like it was only natural that I sort of translated the ideas I had down into story. So that's sort of the beginning of it, and I feel like I had some great English teachers that helped me sort of nurture that. And then I got really interested in movies in particular, and there's something about the immediacy of story that you get from movies that's fast that I really liked, and I've sort of circled back around into.
Do you remember the first book you read?
First book I ever read? I feel like I know the stories that like stuck in my mind that were read to me by my parents. The Hobbit and Treasure Island, so sort of big adventures. As far as things that I read, there was a book of short stories called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It was all these old like folklore ghost stories, and I remember really taking to that, and I feel like that sort of set me on a path towards liking short stories a lot. And then I really got into Ray Bradbury. I read the Martian Chronicles and the Illustrated Man, and from there I started reading Stephen, and I read all his short story collection.
So Stephen King or Dean Koontz?
I'm Stephen King. Thomas is Dean Koontz. Say that I dislike him because I haven't read anything, but I always read Stephen King. So.
Awesome. Well, you should read Odd Thomas. It's my first Dean Koontz book. I loved it.
Oh, great.
But
You'll have to ask Tom his opinion on
Odd Thomas.
Yeah, I think he's got a take on it. We're talking Dean Koontz over here.
We are.
But
Let me back up.
Tom, you've got to
Do you not like Odd Thomas? I loved Odd Thomas.
I was crazy about Dean Koontz in junior high, and I read like every book possible. And then somewhere around when I was in high school, Odd Thomas, I think, might have come out around then. I don't know, he starts talking about his dog. Somehow he was talking about like German Shepherds and every trouble if I keep talking about Dean Koontz.
I know.
I got a lot
of
I'm a fan, and I have theories that that would upset him. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I don't like Dean Koontz as much as he seemed to cheer up. Like if you look at old Dean Koontz books, he's got like a mustache, and he looks like angry and like tortured on the back. And then those books were always like scary. And then later in life, he's like smiling, and he's got a new hairstyle, and then eventually he's like hanging out the driver's side of his car with his dog hanging out the back. And it's just like, I don't know if it just bothers me as like an old-time fan that he's not like evil Dean Koontz anymore, but to me it felt like his books changed when he decided to become a happier person. I became a less happier reader. But I love you, Dean Koontz.
Come on. When you first knew that you wanted to be a writer?
Well, this is funny actually, because I just reconnected
I hope I'm
with.
not cutting off your head, by the way.
I just reconnected with like my best friend from junior high, who I haven't talked to in 20 years. I got on the phone with him like 2 days ago, and in my mind I'd gone to art school and then like veered off into writing after college. But he was telling me about like getting he remembered stories I wrote like in 4th grade that like I had come up with a story about mind worms, mind controlling worms that were transferred through between people's hands, and like the kid had shook his dad's hand, and it turned out the dad worked for the president, and so now we'll never know if the president is being controlled by a mind worm or not. But it was like
That was the 4th grade?
that was in 4th grade,
Wow.
and then but in my head I started writing after college, and only a couple days ago did I realize, like, oh, I liked it back then too, and like there was a germ of something there.
It's being transferred.
We're all the way. I mean, there's no point in holding back or not wanting to own it. I don't understand the impulse. You don't want to say it you don't want to say it really until someone's like giving you a check. But if you don't start thinking it, then you're never gonna like approach the work with enough authority to what you're saying if you don't take yourself that seriously. So you sort of have to, and suffer whoever thinks that's stupid. Ignore them. They don't matter.